Hey everyone, I'm out here in the garage, and what we're going to be doing today is taking a look at my 1982 GMC C2500 pickup. So stay tuned. So if you're new to the channel, I just want to welcome you here, and hopefully you'll consider subscribing if you like what you see. Also, check out Car Apprentice on Instagram, X, and Facebook. I post lots of pictures and videos on those platforms before I post anything on YouTube. And occasionally I'll post things on those platforms I don't post on YouTube. Also, check out the website at carapprentice.com. And don't forget to hit the like button if you like this video. So this is going to be a little bit different kind of video than I normally do on the channel. I normally talk a lot about Japanese cars, namely my Acuras and Hondas. And occasionally I'll work on an Infiniti. But today I thought I'd introduce my 1982 GMC C2500 square body pickup. So I worked on this truck for about 5 months to get it to a point where it's reliable again and I can feel comfortable behind the wheel. So let's get into it. This is my 1982 GMC C2500 square body truck that I've owned for 20 years. The body's in pretty good condition, but it mechanically started to break down over the last few years. Admittedly, I haven't done a good job maintaining it since I only drive it a few times a year. The interior panels deteriorated and need to be replaced. Under the hood, a lot of work was required, primarily to address fluid leaks. Rust along the firewall that allowed water into the cabin was wire brushed and sanded, then converted with Rust-Oleum rust reformer. It was then repaired with wire mesh and metal reinforced bondle and covered with Rust-Oleum high performance primer and paint. That's good enough for now. The main push to straighten this thing out came after the TH400 transmission started slipping badly, rendering the truck undrivable. Here's what I discovered in the transmission pan almost 2 years ago when the transmission first started slipping. Turns out that the plastic 2-3 accumulator piston was broken into pieces, which is a common issue. The rest of the transmission was in pretty good shape. While I was in there, I decided it was best to replace all the wear items. I also felt it was wise to replace the engine's rear main seal, which led to replacing the crankshaft main bearings after discovering damage. There was a mixture of in-spec and out-of-spec bearings. A couple of the bearing sets had to be replaced with undersized bearings. The engine oil pan was stripped and recoated with Rust-Oleum engine enamel. And I installed a high-quality Felpro oil pan gasket and valve cover gaskets with ARP studs and bolts to stop the constant leaks. Here's the transmission being reinstalled in the truck. There is very little room to maneuver. I found that the threads in the tail shaft housing were not in good condition, so I installed thread inserts. The transmission lines were flushed before they were reconnected. I'm glad I did that. I also changed out the transmission pan's cork gasket from the rebuild kit for a thick Moroso gasket to prevent leaks. What I suspect is the original suspension was refreshed with front and rear shocks, front coils, and front stabilizer bushings. We'll leave things right here for now, and I'll throw in a picture of the truck after a wash. Stay tuned for more videos. Alright, so there you have it. There's my 1982 GMC C2500 pickup, or square body. So I have thought about selling this truck at different points, but every time I take it out for a drive, it just reminds me of why it's different from a lot of other vehicles on the road. It's very raw. There's not a whole lot of electronic gadgets or anything like that. And it's just a lot of fun to drive this thing, even though it is an older truck. So hopefully this information was helpful, and thanks for watching.